Hello, I'm Derek from Inflatable Sup Authority, and today we'll be reviewing the Retrospec Weekender Plus 2. We're going to go through all the likes, dislikes, as well as how I felt when I was on the water, and we'll go through all the accessories as well. Stay tuned. Who is the Retrospec Weekender Plus for? The Retrospec Weekender Plus is for paddlers who are brand new to paddling, as well as people who want a kayak hybrid kit, which I'll go into in a little bit here. It's also a great board for just having a casual paddle along the lake, or it's also not a bad board as well for very calm coastal conditions. Now we'll just go through the specs of the Retrospec Weekender Plus 2. So this board is 10 foot 6 inches long. It is 33 inches wide and is 6 inches thick. The board is 23 pounds, so it's actually pretty lightweight. I even felt the difference between carrying this versus one of the other boards I'm shooting today. So it's a pretty lightweight board, and it has a 300-pound maximum capacity. Now this board uses a fusion PVC construction, so it labels it as Air Glide. They don't have the exact specs about this technology, but we assume it is very similar to many other fusion technologies. Now we'll just go through the nose to tail of the board. Starting with the nose, you can see there's a handle here. It is neoprene on the bottom, which I do actually very much appreciate. I think all handles should have neoprene on the bottom personally. And this is a GoPro holder. Can also hold the fake GoPros as well. Faux pros, I like to call them. This is the bungee deck webbing, space at the front. Now I kind of wish that they were a little bit closer together so that they can hold smaller items, but when I had water bottles and sandals in there, it held put. And we get to the deck pad. The other handle, it's made of the exact same material with the nylon at the top and the neoprene at the bottom. And these are the Easy Link systems, followed by a paddle holder, which I think is a really nice touch. In fact, I'm not sure why more sup manufacturers don't have these little paddle holders. They're very handy, especially when you just want to chill on the lake. And then this is back of the board. So it's a rear bungee deck webbing system. So there's 5 rows of bungee deck webbing in total, 3 in the front, 2 in the back. And this also has a little latch so that you can take them off if you want to do your own sort of thing, or you just didn't want bungee deck webbing at all. And then there is the valve and the rear, the leash D-ring. Now we'll do nose to tail of the board with all the accessories. So you can see it comes with a single chamber pump, a little phone case, and there's also the Retrospec shoulder strap as well. There's the paddleboard handle. And this is the kayak seat. So now this seat is actually inflatable at the bottom. And as you can see, it's sort of hard at the top. It's got a pocket right here. It straps on like that. Overall, I thought it was pretty comfortable, especially for a budget board like this. Definitely one of the more comfortable kayak seats compared to just the standard Amazon ones. You can see there actually has a 3 slide-in fin system. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the slide-in fins, but in this case, it actually works fairly well. I'm not usually a fan of them because I find that sometimes they do stick onto the tracks because the heat expands the plastic. So it's always good just to have maybe like a little mallet just to gently kind of, not force it in, but just gently sort of tuck it in there. This is the leash. And then this is the paddle. So as you can see, it's aluminum and it has a bit of coating on it. And then this is the bag. So we'll go through each one by one here. This is the Retrospec bag that comes with the package. So as you can see, It's not the biggest bag in the world, so things can be a little bit of a tight fit. This is why I recommend actually using the pump deflate option so that everything fits in there a little bit better. See, it has a small little pocket here. I just have all the stuff that came with it inside. And then inside the bag, you see it comes with a lot of this sort of stuff. These are things that come with each accessory. So they're little bags that come with it. Helps kind of compartmentalize everything, which is actually very handy. See, there's a decent amount of space in there. Like I said, it's not the biggest bag in the world, but if you deflate the board properly, it will be able to fit inside. This is the back. So again, the bag is fairly basic. I would have liked to see some padding on here, like some back padding right here is what a lot of sub manufacturers have. There's not really any padding on the shoulder strap, so if you're carrying this for a long time, it will dig into your shoulders. But they do have a waist strap to help support right here, as well as a little chest strap. And there's also a little pocket just on the side here. Overall, not necessarily the most impressive bag, but for the budget and for the price of this board, it does the job, and I've managed to fit everything into the bags. Now we'll talk about the 4-piece paddle. It's got 2 blades and then a handle piece and the middle piece. So these paddleboard / kayak blades are aluminum shaft, and then they have a nylon blade. So we'll get a close-up look here. As you can see, there is a coating on there. Now, one of the things I do like about this paddle is the fact that they actually label it front. So as in that is the side that is supposed to be up. A lot of people get this confused, and sometimes they have the paddle the other way around. So I do appreciate the labeling that Retrospec has done. So my experience with the paddle is that in sub formation, now aluminum paddles are not necessarily my favorite, but again, this is a budget board, so we respect that, you know, you can't have like a carbon hybrid paddle with a budget board. Otherwise, that'll just drive the price up. But the sub paddle overall felt pretty good for me. The only thing is, and I'll set it in the on water review as well, that the kayak paddle formation, I did find that this handle, sorry, not the handle, but the little adjusting feature right there kind of got in the way of my arm span a little bit. No, I'm almost 6'1", so I'm a bit of a bigger wingspan kind of guy. But for people who are a little bit smaller, this probably won't be a problem for you. I do like as well that they have actual measurement on the handle. Some sub manufacturers actually don't have measurements even, so it's good that they put that on there. Overall, pretty happy with the paddle though. For the price, you really can't go wrong. This is the pump that comes with the Weekender Plus. Now this pump is a single chamber double action pump. So what that means is it can be double action. As soon as this little guy is inserted there, it inflates on the up and down pump. As soon as you take that off, then it's just the down pump. So you do the double action whenever you're first inflating the board, and then the single action as soon as the pumping starts getting a bit harder. Now there's 2 valves, as I mentioned before. So this one over here is the inflate. This one is the deflate. Now I have it on the deflate because after I take this board down, I'm definitely gonna have to use that. Once again, highly recommend using the deflate option whenever you are packing away the board. It just helps get the air out and you save a good amount of space, and it's probably one of the only ways where you can actually get the board back into the bag because the bag is fairly small. Now we're gonna slide the fins in. So These are the side fins. The side fins go in the lower little slide-in fin boxes over here. So all you gotta do is just follow the track here, slide it in, and then this clip just goes right in like that, and you'll know it's securely in when you hear that little clip sound. So clip. Next is the center fin. So same thing, just want to slide it right in there. This might take a little bit of force, not too much, and then just clip it in, hear a clip sound. So now to take the fins out, what you want to do is press your finger right against these things and take the clip out, and then you just slide it out just like that. And now it's time for the likes and dislikes of the Retrospec Weekender Plus 2. Now there's a lot of things I really liked about this package. Yes, it doesn't come with the carbon hybrid paddle or any of the really fancy accessories or the big bag, but you know what? For the price, it's actually very good value. I mean, just looking at all this stuff here, like there's a leash bag, seat, fins, repair kit, phone case, paddleboard paddle, kayak paddle, blades, the pump, as well as the shoulder strap. A lot of this stuff comes extra, and the fact that they include it for the price that they have is very, very impressive. I also was actually pleasantly surprised by the board's stability. When I first stood up on this board, I felt that it was more than stable enough for a beginner. So this is a great board to learn on as well. Even using it as a kayak and paddleboard all in one, board worked pretty well. We also found that the board had very good tracking metrics. So the two slide-in fins really helped improve the strokes per side to about 7. The average is like 5.8 for all around boards I've tested so far, which is actually a very good ranking, especially for a rounder beginner type of board. The board shape is also very well designed for beginners. Like you could just see that it has the wider nose, and then as soon as you go down, there's the wider tail, which makes it also a good board to learn more advanced maneuvers such as pivot turns, etc. Speaking of turns, the board offered very good maneuverability metrics as well. Some of the best actually that we've had, which is also pretty impressive considering it had the two side-in fins. And so what's pretty cool as well is that you'll be able to take the two side fins out and you could tweak the performance to exactly you like. So if you want the board to be a bit more maneuverable, take the side fins out. If you want to track better, put the side fins in. And now things that I felt the Retrospec Weekender Plus 2 could have done a little bit better. I thought that the bag is a little bit basic. Like I do wish they put padding on the straps in the back. It especially helped those beginners that want to hike a little bit with the bag, because right now I wouldn't say this is the best bag to hike with. They could maybe add a little bit of a bigger pocket perhaps as well. I also found that for me personally, that the little adjuster got in the way of my arm span whenever I was using this board in kayak formation. But if you're a little bit shorter, it probably won't be in the way at all. I also found that this wasn't necessarily the fastest board that I've tested. And I mean, that's the shape of the board, so it's not necessarily the board's fault or anything. Retrospec clearly wanted this to be a beginner board that people could feel stable on. So when you do that, you do sacrifice a little bit of speed. Now just talking a little bit about the return and the warranty period. So the warranty period is 2 years, which is actually pretty respectable for this quality board. A lot of Amazon style boards won't even have a 2-year warranty. Maybe they'll have like 90-day or some weird wording where there's hardly any customer service, etc. That's not the case with Retrospec. So the package obviously has to be in like new condition whenever it is returned, and it doesn't cover anything that is of the fault of yours. So for example, scratches, overinflation, etc. It's mostly manufacturing defects. This board comes with a 50-day return policy. Now, if you were to return it, you do need to pay $55 for return shipping. Retrospec has different tiers as terms of what the cost is to return the item. So in this case, this is the tier 5, which is $55 for single-use inflatable paddleboards. Overall, the return policy is on the better side, I'd say. Most of them are around 30 days, so it is nice you get 20 extra days. Especially if you bought this in spring, you need a little bit more time to test this board out, make sure it's right for you. Is the Retrospec Weekender Plus 2 a good buy? Yes, a resounding yes by me. I mean, it has a $375 US price point, and just look at all the accessories you get with it. The board performed very well as in our on-water tests. It tracked very well. We found it to be very stable, so we think this is an excellent board for brand new beginners to learn on, or even kayakers who want the option to kayak / paddleboard. The seat is comfy enough. It's definitely better than just the Amazon style cushion seats. This one is inflatable, so you're uplifted a bit. So if you have back pain like me, etc., or maybe your legs crank up a bit, you have that uplifted part. The only thing I do wish that they did have is that they had a little footrest so that you can activate your core a little bit better, but it's also not necessarily a huge deal breaker, especially if you're a beginner, you're just learning the ropes. Overall, it's a fantastic board for a budget, and I would even say this is one of the best cheap inflatable paddle boards of 2024. Thanks for watching my video. I'm Derek from Inflatable Sup Authority. Really appreciate it if you check out the links in the bio, one to purchase it and one for the review of the board. If you like this content, like, subscribe. Till then, thanks for watching. See ya.